Corepunk has garnered much criticism over the last 4 years, with the main issue being that the game is lacking in many areas. With early access pegged for launch in just under a week, people want to know, did Artificial Core fix the issues with Corepunk, and is Corepunk worth bothering with? I've had the privilege of playing Corepunk in each and every public test, and also in some invite-only private preview events, and this gives me a very unique perspective about how the game has developed since the beginning. I've been a bit reluctant to make as many videos about the game as I'd have liked, and this is due to 2 reasons. The first being that the game just keeps changing so drastically from test to test, and the second being that I felt that the game wasn't showing us everything that it had to offer, and I didn't want to paint the game in a bad light. If you'd asked me what my honest opinion of the game was about 2 months ago, around the start of the Alpha Test 4, I'd have told you it had potential, but it was too unbalanced, and ultimately that made the game boring. Progression was difficult, and the game overall was simply frustrating to play. Fast forward to the latest iteration of the game, I've had a completely different experience to all the previous tests, and actually this one feels a lot more satisfying to play. They've overhauled the quests to chain them together in a much more logical way, adding several new quests and replacing outdated quests with ones that just make a lot more sense. At no point did I feel like there was nothing for me to aim for. It's not perfect by any stretch of the imagination, but so far I'm having a great time playing, and I'm finding myself wanting to keep logging back in to continue to play. At one point it was so frustrating to find resource nodes to gather from, and the mob camps were too difficult to solo. Now the nodes are plentiful and much easier to locate, and this time around I've not felt the need to select the Pathfinder talent tree, which was, until now, an essential choice for solo players. Early access doesn't mean finished, so I can forgive some of the bugs, as long as they're not game breaking, but there do need to be improvements in the game to make people fall in love with it. I don't have too many issues with the quest system, but I am aware that others have expressed discontent in the types of quests that are available. The quests generally are go here, collect this, take to this person kind of quests. I have no real issue with that personally, but I appreciate that we all have different tastes, but I don't really know what kind of quests would satisfy the masses the most anyway. I do feel though, at starting around level 6, some kind of instance dungeon is needed, and then more dungeons throughout the world at various locations and levels, a little bit like the way Diablo does it. And this would make the game much more interesting from the perspective of variety. Each dungeon boss could have an exclusive loot table with sought after items and rewards. This could also provide a rewarding, repeatable content to the players. Item progression still feels a little bit lacking. I feel like the progression is kind of slow between stat improvements. I'd welcome more frequent stat increases throughout my journey and at a price that's affordable. Unless you choose to craft a new weapon with gathered resources using the crafting recipe you pick as a reward for the level 5 quest, you're pretty much stuck until well after level 10 with the same basic weapon, and this is because you're saving your gold to buy a mount, which is a much needed purchase. That being said, I don't feel like I've struggled significantly by not having the weapon. I feel it's more from a psychological progression perspective that I need these gains. Overall, I'd say the majority of my complaints have been addressed, and the TLDR of this video is, yes, Corepunk has improved significantly and is now fun to play. How long will that fun last? I don't know. The developers say there's 300 hours of content, but that still remains to be seen. Now, if you want to learn about the unique way that Corepunk addresses gathering and crafting, then just check out this video that's linked just here.